What if an extinct animal from the Ice Age walked the Earth again today? Sounds like something out of a movie, right? But in a quiet lab, 3 pups were born, engineered to look like dire wolves, extinct for 13,000 years. Some call it a miracle of science. Others say it's just a fancy illusion. So, did de-extinction really work? Or have we just fooled ourselves? In early 2025, a biotech company made headlines. They claimed to bring back the dire wolf, a predator that vanished 13,000 years ago. 3 pups were born, named Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi, created in a lab using pieces of ancient DNA and modern gene editing tools. But here's the twist. Some scientists say these aren't real dire wolves, just modified gray wolves made to look ancient. So what's the truth? Is this a step toward bringing back extinct animals? Or just a clever experiment dressed as a breakthrough? Let's explore what really happened and why it matters more than you think. Long before humans built cities, dire wolves roamed the wild lands of North and South America. They were massive, heavier and stronger than today's gray wolves. With powerful jaws and sharp teeth, they hunted giant prey like bison and horses. Fossils show they lived in packs, worked together, and ruled the Ice Age plains. For years, people thought dire wolves were just ancient versions of modern wolves, but new research proved something shocking. Dire wolves weren't closely related to gray wolves at all. In fact, they were a completely different branch of the canine family tree. They split from other wolves over 5 million years ago. That means they weren't just bigger, they were something else entirely. So when they disappeared 13,000 years ago, they didn't leave behind close relatives. They left a hole in nature, one that science is now trying to fill. But here's the big question. What made the dire wolf so special that scientists want to bring it back? In a quiet lab at Colossal Biosciences, scientists held something ancient, a fossilized tooth from a dire wolf more than 13,000 years old, and a skull, frozen in time for over 70,000 years. From those remains, they pulled DNA, damaged, broken, but still holding secrets. Most of it was too old to use, but small pieces were enough to find what made the dire wolf different. They studied the genes that shaped its bones, fur, size, and even behavior. Then they turned to CRISPR, a tool that works like a genetic scalpel. With it, they edited the DNA of gray wolf embryos. Piece by piece, they added traits that once belonged to dire wolves. They didn't create a full clone. That's still impossible. But they built something close, a hybrid, with over 20 unique traits from the ancient predator. The embryos were placed into surrogate dogs, and when Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi were born, the world watched in awe. They looked strong, wild, familiar, yet strange. Some called them ghosts from the past. Others saw something deeper, proof that extinction might not be forever. But here's the question that stopped everyone in their tracks. Can editing a few genes truly bring back an animal that's been gone for 13,000 years? The headlines were bold. Dire wolves are back. But behind the scenes, many scientists were not celebrating. They were asking hard questions. Can we really say these animals are dire wolves? The truth is, only a small part of the original DNA was used. The rest comes from modern wolves, shaped to look ancient. To some, that's like painting stripes on a horse and calling it a zebra. It might look close, but it's not the same. Real dire wolves had traits we still don't fully understand. Their DNA holds mysteries that are lost forever. And without those pieces, these new animals may be more inspired by than reborn. Then came the bigger worry. How far will we take this? If we start reviving extinct creatures, where do we stop? Do we try to bring back mammoths, saber-toothed cats, even dinosaurs? And what about today's animals that are dying out? Shouldn't we focus on saving them first? Some experts say de-extinction is a distraction, a flashy project that takes money and focus away from protecting real living species. Others say it's the future of conservation, a way to correct the damage humans caused long ago. But here's the haunting question scientists still argue about. Are we saving nature, or rewriting it. Bringing back an extinct animal sounds exciting, but what happens after it's born? Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi are alive now, but they live in controlled environments, not in the wild, not where dire wolves once roamed. Because the truth is, there's no place left for them out there. The world they knew is gone. The animals they hunted are extinct. The balance of nature has changed. So if we release them, what happens to the ecosystem? Will they hurt other species? Will they survive at all? Some say it's risky, like adding a new predator without knowing the rules. Even a small mistake could cause chaos. Then there's the moral side. Is it right to create animals that might suffer? What if they feel pain, fear, confusion? Are we giving them a life or trapping them in one? These aren't robots. They breathe, eat, sleep. They bond. They feel. And still some ask, if we can undo extinction, don't we have a duty to try? But maybe the better question is, should we revive the past when we still don't understand the cost? Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi may be just the beginning. The company behind them, Colossal Biosciences, has bigger plans. Next up, the woolly mammoth. They believe these ancient giants can help restore damaged ecosystems. Imagine herds roaming the Arctic again, flattening snow, spreading seeds, and cooling the ground. They say it could slow climate change. It sounds bold, but it also sounds familiar. Humans trying to fix nature with technology. Supporters call it rewilding. Skeptics call it playing God. Some worry about turning animals into lab experiments, not to live free, but to serve human goals. And what happens if it becomes a business? Will companies start making custom animals? Will we choose what comes back and what stays gone? Still, it's hard not to wonder, if we have the tools to reverse extinction, shouldn't we at least try? Maybe one day future generations will walk beside creatures they only read about in books. Maybe they'll thank us. Or maybe they'll ask why we brought the past into a world that wasn't ready for it. So here's the final question before we conclude. Is de-extinction a second chance for nature, or a dangerous rewrite of life's story? The birth of these wolf pups is more than a scientific headline. It's a window into what's possible, and what's still unknown. Maybe they're not real dire wolves, maybe they're something new, but they force us to ask deeper questions about power, purpose, and responsibility. Because when we reach into the past and pull something forward, we don't just change science, we change the story of life itself. So ask yourself, if we can bring a species back, what else are we willing to change? If this made you curious, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Should we bring back extinct animals or leave the past alone? And check out our next video. We're diving into the race to revive the woolly mammoth. You won't want to miss it.